we drink on, just besides water, we can also drink on sippers. The one that Trim Healthy Mama, the lady started with first, is called Good Girl Moonshine. Okay, there's a variety of ways that you can drink Good Girl Moonshine. This one, I made it with this tea. Okay, just to flavor it up. Or, you can drink it just like in the directions, okay? You would not have this one. I'll go ahead and pass this out to you. I did, the one in the quart jar is just by these directions right here. Thank you. If you want to flavor it up, I brought some flavored extract so y'all can flavor it up to your satisfaction. I tried to sweeten it up, but I'm not one to want to use a whole lot of sweetener, so I did not put a lot of sweetener in it because it's not really about the sweetener, it's about getting your water content in, okay? And it is on the Good Trim Healthy Mama recipe side, okay? The Good Girl Moonshine. And you can look it up and find all the benefits because it comes with ginger in it. There is, apple cider vinegar mug. Sometimes these words just leave it. So look it up, there's a lot of good benefits in it. Just to kind of recap from last week, y'all help yourself on the snacks, okay? While I'm talking, y'all help yourself. Therefore, y'all to try and to enjoy. But just to recap, S stands for what? Satisfied. And it focuses on what? Focuses on fats. It focuses on fats. E stands for what? Energizing. And then what's it focus on? Carbs. E focuses on carbs. At every meal you ask yourself, what do I have? Your protein. You fill your plate with what? Fuels. Those are your non-starchy veggies. You fill your plate with fuels. What are crossovers? That's when you combine your fats and your carbs together, and therefore your pregnant mamas, your nursing mamas, those with high metabolism, those that are in maintenance, and maybe just want a little extra fat in your meal. You know, that's what crossovers are for. Remember, also, there's S helpers. S helpers are still in your S meal, but it has a little extra what? Carb. Like a quarter cup of brown rice, or a quarter cup of beans, or maybe a half a cup of blueberries. That would apply to strawberries to go with that. So this is some of the things that we learned last week. I'm just recapping it tonight. But what I do want you to do is, now tonight, in the back of your folder, the new ladies, in the back of your folder, look for notes, week 2. All the way to the back, notes, week 2. While you're finding that, y'all notice what I do to my book? I flag it. So get you some flags and flag it. When something is important to you, put a flag in it so you can go back and find it. Alright? That helped me out a whole lot. Like I have on here, butter info, and I have fruit info, just the numbers. So it's things that is something important to me. A note that says, Sister Teresa shared on 7/20. So you should have got your extra ticket. And y'all remember when I tried to make a post about what's coming up, and y'all can share that post so y'all get extra tickets to win a door prize. So back to this. Did everybody find this page, week 2 notes? Y'all gonna be using that, okay? I'm gonna be telling you things to write down on. Y'all remember last week? It helped for the quiz. Now this sheet here, I tried to simplify our meals. We got S meals, E meals, LP meals, your crossover meals, and your S helpers. I tried to give all the numbers to the best of my knowledge here. So that way you can put that on your refrigerator. I know I gave y'all one last week, but I updated this one just a tad bit more. Maybe that'll help. Okay, this right here is just, the next sheet is called a handicap quiz. You can do that when you go home. You don't have to do that here. It's just an information. It says, what would I like for breakfast? What would I enjoy at lunch? What, you know, something that would taste good at supper time. So that's just something you can do at home. And at the end, we'll have our quiz. I don't know how long this class will last. I didn't actually go through this ahead of time. So, okay, this took me 30 minutes. It could take me 30 minutes. It could take me a whole hour. So anybody that needs to leave, don't feel bad if you need to walk out and leave, okay? Some things that I did want to mention to y'all. Having the book is so important. It's really vital if you're going to do Trim Healthy Mama, if that is your source of a healing journey, of a weight loss journey, of just improving your lifestyle. You really need the Trim Healthy Mama book. Go ahead and purchase it. Go ahead and start reading it. Go ahead and start learning this learning curve that we was all talking about last week. Also, there are Facebook groups you can join. You've got Trim Healthy Mama group. It's called Trim Healthy Mama. There is Trim Healthy Beginners. That's THM. Trim Healthy Beginners. THM Beginners. There's also Trim Healthy Mama Menopause. Unofficial Trim Healthy Mama group. And then there's another one called Trim Healthy Mama Intermittent Fasting. There's also a group for those who do intermittent fasting if you're interested in that lifestyle as well. And I know several women who've done it. I have actually tried intermittent fasting before. Well, that's what I do most of the time. Intermittent fasting along with Trim Healthy Mama. Eat Trim Healthy Mama ways. Okay, also there is on my phone, y'all see this? A Trim Healthy Mama analyzer. You can go to your store, wherever your Android or your iPhone uses. Go ahead and download that. Trim Healthy Mama Analyzer. It's called THM Food Analyzer. That's what it's called. I suggest you go ahead and opening that, because when you open this app up, you got a lot of good stuff there that you can refer to. One other good important thing is you can put in a food, say like turnips. Now it doesn't have where you can take a picture of it. Turnips. And it's called an LP. But turnip is a root vegetable, so if you use it in the right portion, it is an LP. But if you use very much of it, it can go all the way into the E category as well. So if you're not sure of the food, you can put that product in, and hopefully it'll come up with which meal that it belongs to.
And is the food analyzer or the?
It's the one. Is it the one with the butterfly?
Yes, with the butterfly.
Open that butterfly. Oh no, that was set that man.
Yes.
With the fruit.
It shouldn't cost anything. Yeah, set that butterfly. So pretty much, I'm just going to tell a little bit about how I found Trim Healthy Mama. I mentioned it last week. I just found it on accident. My husband told me if I ever found a weight loss program that we would do, and I did. I found Trim Healthy Mama. It's by two sisters that started it, and it's about 10 years old now. They've got, you look over here, many different books that they have been able to publish. So I found Trim Healthy Mama, and I didn't have the book. It took 3 weeks to get the book. Y'all see your book? This is what I started out with. So it took a little while to learn everything, so don't learning curve. But once you get it, you're going to do just fine. You can go into Walmart and you go, oh, this is my E. This would be great. I can make a really nice soup with this. Oh, well, this right here will make a really nice, satisfying meal. I think I want steak tonight, and I believe, a nice salad and some vegetables and fruit. That's what I want tonight. So that's your S meal because it's got fat in it. So what I did because I didn't have the book, I just looked online, and I found so much stuff. Did y'all go and look up Wind's Nest? Wind's Nest is one that you really need to go to if you don't have your book. But ladies, most of y'all have your books though?
Mine's ordered.
Wind's Nest is a good one. She has a quick start guide, and she gives you a lot of numbers to go to. So my first meal, because I knew low carb, I did eggs and bacon. And then for lunch, there was recipes on the Trim Healthy Mom site. So I did a low carb, a low fat bowl. And then for supper, I made a roast. And so I just looked everything up until I got my book. And I kept reading until finally that Christmas morning, that's what it felt like when my book came in. But just give yourself time. There is a little learning curve. But tonight we're going to dig in just a little bit deeper, and we're going to smooth out that curve just a little bit more. Okay? So y'all ready? Go ahead and turn to page 27, chapter 3. Now, I will be jumping around a little bit tonight, so don't be surprised, okay? I'll be going to this page, and I may jump back to this page. So we're going to build our first meal tonight. We're going to start with the S meal. I'm trying to get my book opened up with y'all as well. So it starts with chapter 3 and page 27. But now I want y'all to jump on over to 34, page 34. And let's go ahead and start looking at our ingredients. We're just going to jump into what we need for our ingredients, okay? What did I say? What is the first thing you ask yourself before you even do anything? What is my protein? So on the bottom of page 34, what is some of our S-friendly meats? Well,
This is all meats and fish.
you got beef, lean beef, or fatty beef. If you have fatty beef, like you can't get it 90% fat-free, take and brown your ground beef under hot water. Put it on hot water and get all that extra grease out. If you want to go into your emails, just remember. If you want an email, you got ground beef and you don't have 96% fat-free, run it under hot water. But under S-meal, we don't have to worry about that, okay? Under S-meal, you can have lean or fatty beef. You can have chicken, turkey with or without skin. You can have sausage and bacon. You can have deer, lamb, tuna, salmon, and seafood. You can have whole eggs. You can do the white egg, the yolk. Not the yolks. The whites of the egg. These are all part of the S-friendly meats, okay? We're building the S meal. So now we're going to move to your S-friendly dairy. We're still on, now we're on 35. This right here, this is where you can use your heavy whipping cream, your half and half for coffee, butter for me and my coffee. I put butter in my coffee, and I put MCT oil in my coffee. And I make what's called bulletproof coffee, and it's so good. Cheese of all kinds, sour cream. It doesn't matter whether it's full fat or low fat, sour cream. Same with cottage cheese, it could be 1% up to 4%, because this is your S meal. Ricotta cheese, feta cheese, and the Laughing Cow cheese. The Laughing Cow cheese is real low in fat, so that's why, and I'm jumping ahead, but that's why Laughing Cow cheese is really good in your emails or snacks. If you want your Greek yogurt, full fat or reduced fat, that's up to you. And if you have it for dessert, say at night you had your supper, but you want a little dessert, but you know, want some yogurt, about a half a cup will be fine to end your supper with. What about our S-friendly veggies? That's all non-starchy veggies. What are that? If you go to page 34, it basically says any vegetable that is not a root vegetable. That's what your non-starchy veggies are. So what is your root vegetable? They're your potatoes, your sweet potatoes, carrots, and starch is your corn. Corn is your starch. If you look at the bottom of 35, turnips is described as a root vegetable, so watch your portion sizes in the S meal, because remember in the S meal you want your carbs at what? 10 or less. Your S meals, your carbs are 10 or less. And we're going to be going over this some more, okay? We're just going through the food list. And that's why this can take a little while. Now, if you'll turn over to page 58, we're going to look at the detail of they're called fuel pools, they're called non-starchy veggies. You can eat these liberally, all right? That includes asparagus, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, cucumber, eggplant, mushrooms, okra, tomatoes, yellow squash. So y'all see where I'm going with this. In the S meal, these are your fuel pools. You can eat these liberally. These are what you round out your plate on. Your fuel pools. Does that make sense? We got our meats. We got our fats. Your meat is your protein. You got your fat. That's your heavy whipping cream or your cream cheese. And then we got our vegetables. And that's your non-starchy vegetables, not the root vegetables. Listen. These are all part of the fuel pool food. Remember, they are like a khaki skirt. They go with everything your fuel pools do. We don't count the carbs in your non-starchy veggies. Their carb count will be between 2 and 6. Your non-starchy veggies, you do not have to count. I usually have 2 veggies with my meal. Usually is what I do. Remember this, we eat non-starchy veggies or fuel pools liberally with the exception of tomatoes, onions, and peas. Those have a few more carbs in it, so we cannot eat all those that we want. And this is what y'all need to write down. Okay? That may not be on the back of your folder, your quiz. Remember, a tomato is half of a large. You can have this in as your fuel pool, non-starchy veggies in your S meal. Your onion, no more than 1/4 to 1/2 of a small to medium onion. So we're not taking the onions away, you just can't have as much of it. And the peas are 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup. And limit your butternut and acorn squash to a 1/2 cup. Alright? So you can have them, you just gotta limit your portion sizes. What veggies do we need to avoid in the S meal? Your root veggies and your starchy veggies. And that's what I just went over. Those would be your terms you can have, but you watch your portion sizes. Sweet potatoes, your golden potatoes, those you want to hold back on in your S meal. You can have cooked carrots, but watch those as well. Like in your stir fry, just a few to go in your stir fry. So, potatoes, sweet potatoes, turnips, corn, and cooked carrot. Don't use those as liberally as you would your non-starchy veggies. Is that making sense? Okay? Your egg-friendly fruit. You can have up to 1 cup of strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and fresh cranberries. But blueberries, a 1/2 cup. That's because your blueberries have a few more carbs and it's going to bump that insulin up just a little bit. Cause you have a little bit of blood sugar spike. So you can't have as much of those blueberries, a 1/2 cup. So a cup for strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and cranberries, 1/2 cup for blueberries. And remember, you don't have to go up to these numbers. You can pull back a little bit if you feel like you need to. If you feel like that's too much food, instead of having a full cup of strawberries, you can do a 1/2 cup instead of having a half a cup of blueberries, you can do a fourth of a cup. That's really up to you. You can enjoy lemons and limes also. But avoid all other fruits in your egg meal. Except for 1 teaspoon of all fruit jelly. You can have 1 teaspoon of that because of the sugar content that's in all the rest of your jellies. And the fructose that's in your jellies as well. Okay, your nuts and seeds, 1 to 2 servings. So let's see. Okay, I put my bag somewhere else, but nuts, they have good healthy fats in them. For the most part, all of them do. But you gotta watch your content. You gotta make sure that you keep the 1 to 2 servings, because that's a lot of dense calories in your nuts. But they're good to eat. There are a lot of healthy nuts out there. I know the almonds are, walnuts are really good for you. But just keep it to 1, no more than 2 servings. Our condiments. We're gonna start with the oils. We want to keep it to coconut oil. And you'll see, I have my coconut oil here. And I get this one from Rose's. Right now, they have the cheapest oil at $4. What I'm telling you ladies laughing. Big Lots used to have it before, but theirs is gone up to $6. So I got that one from Rose's for $4. So you want to have your coconut oil, red palm oil, or butter. Because we want to have more saturated fats in our oils and not the unsaturated. You can also have mayo in your egg meal. You can have mustard, horseradish, vinegar. You can have full fat salad dressing. You can have it bought from the store. You don't have to make your own. Just make sure that your dressing has like 2 carbs in the can. It may be for 1 tablespoon and it could be for 2. I don't really remember. Trim Healthy Mama also suggests that you can take your dressing, take half of it and put it in another container and fill it with water. So you'll have 2 different dressings, but half of it and half of it. You got water and a salad dressing, you got water and salad dressing in the other one. Does that make sense? You can kind of, we're not so concentrated. I've never done that. I still use my full fat dressing. I use every bit of it that comes from Melisco's too. I am not going to skip on my dressing, but y'all, they suggest that you can do that. Alright, you can have your pickles, your non-sweet pickles, your dill pickles. You can have olives, that's great food for healthy fat. You can have raw as long as no sugar in it. Spices and seasons without sugar as well. Ketchup without sugar if you can find it. I have not seen it, but I haven't looked real hard for it either. But Walmart may carry it. If you do like ketchup, a little bit is probably not going to hurt you. If you want to put it on your low-carb burger, just a scant amount of ketchup probably not going to cause too much of a blood sugar spike for you. And hot sauces of all kinds. Okay, what about our grain? You will keep these foods away except in very small amounts. No more than 1/4 of a cup. Remember I'm talking about the beans you can have 1/4 of a cup, your brown rice 1/4 of a cup. There's something else called quinoa. Has anybody ever heard of quinoa? I love quinoa. This one here is actually mixed with brown rice. But I do enjoy quinoa. So y'all look it up. And it's not pronounced at all the way it's spelled, but it's pronounced quinoa. We'll go over it a little bit more later on. So any more than 1/4 of a cup of your grains in your egg meal is going to slow down your progress. That would be fine for nursing mamas and pregnant mamas, but if you're trying to lose weight, you want to keep that carb count down in your egg meals. Actually, if you add 1/4 of a cup of those grains, y'all remember what that's called? Egg helper. That would be an egg helper when you add that little extra bit of carb to your egg meal. What about healthy specialty items? I'm just going to introduce these to y'all. Not going to talk too much about them tonight. We'll come to those in a further chapter down probably next week. So you have Pristine Whey protein powder. That can go in any of your smoothies. integral collagen. You got something that's called, I can't pronounce the first name, but we nicknamed it gluten. And it's organic fiber supplement. And you can put, that's a thickener. You can put it in your soup, you can put it in your ice cream, stuff to make it a little bit thicker.
Glucosamine.
Hmm?
Glucosamine.
There you go. I can't pronounce it. The plant-proof sweeteners, which is your stevias, erythritol, xylitol, and monk fruit. There's one other. But anyway, so your plant-proof sweeteners, pressed peanut flour. You can actually have stevia sweetened chocolate squares, 85% dark chocolate. You can have 1 to 2 of those. There's not a significant amount of sugar in it because you have an insulin spike. And remember, this is what True Healthy Mom is all about. It's about not spiking your insulin. It's not having bad insulin.
If you do xylitol and you feed your pets snacks, don't do xylitol. Xylitol is poisonous for pets.
Yeah.
So that's,
It can make your dog very sick, as it's known to be fatal in xylitol.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you keep that away from them. You can have unsweetened cocoa, I did not bring that tonight, I brought it last time, and then unsweetened nut milk, such as almond, cashew, coconut, or flaxseed milk. I use my unsweetened almond milk all the time, It's not put in this sipper, but in here I've got a drink, it's called the shrimper. And it's got my unsweetened almond milk in it. I might make this one for y'all next week. This one's got cayenne pepper, so it's got a little bit of a bite to it. But it's good. I'm gonna make that one. But I do want y'all to try the Good Girl Moonshine tonight before you leave. Personal choices. Have I mentioned personal choices? Franken Foods. Did I mention that last week?
no.
Okay. Those are food for what I'm called a drive-through soup. I want things done fast. Easy. I don't want to have to go and prepare bread. I don't want to have to go and churn anything. I want things that are fast and easy. So this wrap, instead of making my own wraps or making my own bread, I buy it. So this is how Franken Foods. And here's this hamburger buns, and they're keto friendly. They have 23 carbs, but they have 18 fibers. And so I subtract the fiber from the carb. What does that leave me? 5 carbs? And that fits in our S meal, because our S meal, you can have all the fats you want, but the carbs are 10 or less. I still have my hamburger with this bun. Is it something that one of the sisters is a purist? She wouldn't touch this. The other sister, she would try it. She's not going to eat it. It may have ideal ingredients in it that not so ideal for True Healthy Mama that's a purist, but I'm not a purist. I'm far from being a purist. So I always have this.
Is that 10 carbs or less per meal or per day for the day?
Do I now?
Is it 10 or less carbs? Is that per meal?
For that meal.
Okay.
For that meal. And you can have 2.5. You can eat every 2.5 hours if you stay within the same joule. If you're going from an S to an E, then you gotta wait 3 hours. That's the reason why you can eat somewhere between 4, 5, and 6 times a day according to how often you're eating. If you're eating at the maximum amount of times you can eat, which every 2.5 hours, or if you are giving yourself 4 hours to eat. So yes, that is per meal. Also, these right here would also be part of Franken Foods and the specialty, not really specialty items, what did I call it? Personal choices. I love these. I can still have my spaghetti. I can still make a noodle salad with these elbow noodles. You just have to make sure you cook according to the direction. In this right here, it has a protein coating on it, so it keeps it from digesting as a carb. So you make sure you measure this out. This is for a cup.
and it doesn't work when you reheat it. You have to, it's one of those one-time deals. You cook it, you eat it. If you reheat it, the protein is gone and it's a carb. So just keep that in mind when you're planning leftovers or something like that. You cook only what you're gonna eat at that time. So
you get your protein also when you eat that?
yes, and that's the only brand that does that.
Is that at Walmart?
It is.
Like another brand at Walmart that has just protein in it, it's in a yellow box.
I'm just getting right here yet.
They have one that's just protein, that has a lot of protein in it, and it's in a yellow box, but I can't think of the name of it.
It's a pasta.
I like it.
I'd have to, yeah.
I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference between regular pasta and the Dreamfield pastas. You can sneak that in on your family and they never know it. Yeah.
If y'all will turn to page 34, I'm gonna read you what it says about Frankenfoods. It says here, we are a bit different in our approaches. This is sisters talking. If you take a more pure approach to eating like Serene does, you will be satisfied with S meals by simply eating all the delicious meals you can put together with pure whole food. But some of us like Pearl and her drive-through Sue, remember talking about that? She's not quite at the level of being a purist. So she wouldn't mind eating some of these products like this that is just quick and easy to get to without having to make her own pasta. So I purchased that at Walmart. And I don't know that I've seen it anywhere else, have you? So that's where I get mine from. And different Walmarts is going to have different things. The one in Hayes may not have what we have. So this is an easy way to get to making a sandwich. It's an easy way to make it a burrito. Or quesadillas, pasta, it's just an easy way to get there. It saves time for us. Instead of cutting up zucchini and baking bread for sandwiches, it's just an easy Frankenfood. So we have those tortillas. There is Joseph's low-carb pitas and lattice bread. There's also Missions have a low-carb tortilla. But there's probably more out there. That's just the two that I'm familiar with. This one, the low-carb Missions, and then the Joseph pitas. I've seen it also. It's recommended not to have more than once or twice a week. It's your personal choice though if you want to have it every day, but not at every meal. But they suggest once to twice a week. Then next we are fat-free ready meal. You use that and not Cool Whip because the Cool Whip contains high fructose syrup in it, corn syrup. So you will use the fat-free ready meal. There was a lawsuit with the Dreamfields. It said that there had been a lot of concern over a recent lawsuit. Dreamfield pastas, they were found to have falsely advertised Dreamfield pastas as containing fewer digestible carbs and having a lower glycemic index than traditional pasta. Dreamfield has also changed their packaging, removing the 5 digestible carb claim. And I remember seeing that when I first started eating from Healthy Mama Way using these Dreamfield noodles. I remember seeing it as 5 digestible carbs. So many were wondering, were the sisters still recommending using the Dreamfields on plant? And this is what Pearl, one of the sisters, said. Many of us have had great True Healthy Mama success using Dreamfield now and then. That's why I said once or twice a week. Some of our mamas have reported they get a high blood sugar after eating it, but many of us do fine, including Pearl herself. She says, I'll eat it about once every week or two, as I do not do now, and each mama will need to make their own choice for herself. Dreamfield was really only supposed to be used infrequently, and it's never been a purist option like Serene would be. So we may no longer be able to think of it in terms of 5 grams of carbs, but I say that those who have learned how to be successful with it can keep on using it, and I do. Now, this is the way I do it. I'll have it for over, and if we have some left over, I'll eat it the next day for my lunch if I want it. I've never seen any problem eating Greenfield noodles. The only thing is you do not reheat it, because if you reheat it, you will break down that protein barrier that is on it. Okay? So, how are y'all feeling? I see some rubbing your heads. Alright, turn back to page 28. So what's the first thing that we're going to do? We're going to choose our protein, lean or fatty. We're going to add fats as desired. We're going to add fuels, non-starchy veggies, berries, and certain forms of dairy. Our fats are 5, our carbs are 10 or less. Your carbs have to be lower in this meal to promote weight loss, but your fats will be in generous amounts. So let's look at the two examples on page 27 and 29. So our protein in this meal is what? The roast with gravy. Our fat would be the creamy dressing, the olive oil, and the cheese. And our fuel food, which is our non-starchy veggies, are going to be the cream mashed potatoes and the side salad. That just made up your S meal. So say that's your supper. If you wanted to, you can have a planned approved dessert. Maybe just a little small cheesecake, a little small planned approved cheesecake without a nut crust probably. Or maybe you just want a little bit of yogurt. Just about a fourth of a cup to a half a cup of yogurt, because it's going to have some carbs in it. Those beans or those grains, fourth of a cup, no more than that. But only on the table. These veggies and beans are grains, and this will become an S helper. So you got to be careful, not too much if you want to lose weight. I didn't add too many beans and grains with my S meals when I was in my weight loss mode, but you can have it. This type of meal is still weight loss mode, but will be slower if you add that little bit of carb. Remember, this is your journey. You go at your speed, okay? If you need this in your meal, then enjoy it and have it. Just know that weight loss may be just a little bit slower. But what is this journey all about? It's about becoming healthier, isn't it? It's all about becoming healthier and realizing that weight loss is great, but knowing that you're getting healthier is so much more important. I'm learning that now. So let's talk about some good fats. So we know we need to cook with coconut oil, butter, and palm oil. Are you surprised that by some of these fats that I've introduced y'all to, y'all know about them? The American Heart Association didn't label olive oil or avocado with a sign saying they cause heart disease or clogged artery. They remain the elite of the good fat. But finally, coconut oil and butter get to shine to a healthy mama. I give it 100% refined coconut oil, and it doesn't have a coconut flavor to it. So coconut oil, MCT oil is a really good one too. Olive oil and grass-fed butter are your oils of choice. They are also saturated oil and the safest to heat. These oils do not turn into trans fats. Your coconut oil, your butter, your red palm oil. But the things that do turn into trans fat increases the blood level and your cholesterol, increases the risk of angina, heart attack, and coronary artery disease. From other sources, saturated fat molecules have fewer places for oxygen to be damaged from heating. Damaged fats, so there is less chance for inflammation, aging, as well as heart issues. So what I'm trying to say is, your coconut oil, it's not going to be damaged as much whenever you are cooking it. The molecules in it is not going to damage when it's heated up. But now, if you look at some of your other ones, like your canola oil and your sunflower oil, and this is not, okay, here we go. Canola oil, corn oil, cottonseed, peanut, safflower, butter because it's not going to damage the inside of your body whenever you are cooking with it like the other vegetable oil will. So let's turn to page 32 to answer the question. If you pair mashed potatoes with an S meal, what happens? You got A, you get the hiccup. B, you feel the urge to scratch your left ankle. You have a second helping, or no body fat will be burned. No body fat will be burned, will it? The body will have to burn through the carbs first before it can get around to burning any fat from the steak portion. Okay, any questions before we move on? Okay, now we're going to switch meals. Okay, we're going to go from your S meal to your E meals. I like to look at it as our E meals as what? Our low fat meals. Okay, chapter 4, page 39. The energizing meals. The abbreviation is E. Okay, now write this down. When switching from S and E fuels, you have to wait 3 hours to go from S meal to an E meal or snacks. When you're switching from S and E fuels, you're going to have to wait 3 hours. And that's because we want to give that fuel time to get out of our body, out of our bloodstream, for it can do the job that it's supposed to do, give us the energy so we can put a different fuel in. So we switch it now. E stands for energizing. As I am talking about the E fuel, I will be going through the food list, okay? And I will be mentioning portion sizes as well. And then we're going to build a meal. There are two common extremes when it comes to carbs. Either you're addicted to them or what? Afraid of them. There's just two extremes. And I really do love my carb meals. I really do. So I'm trying to incorporate more email. Just like all fats are not created equal, neither are carbs created equal. Carbs are known for fattening us and causing those blood sugar spikes. I just want y'all to take a mental note of this. E-meals are designed to help you gain better health and fired up metabolism by eating these delicious, energizing carbs that are anchored with what? Protein. With just the right amount of carbs in your email is enough to keep you energized without causing that much of a blood sugar spike. You get to eat fruits, sweet potatoes, beans, legumes, oatmeal, brown rice, and something called quinoa that I just mentioned to y'all, introduced y'all to. Quinoa is packed with fiber and protein. For 3/4 of a cup, it comes with 4 to 5 grams of fiber and 6 grams of protein. It is not even a grain though. It is a seed. It's a relative of the beets and spinach family, believe it or not. It's considered a superfood. The English called it the mother of grain, but remember it is a seed. And it's packed with vitamins and minerals. So give the quinoa a try. I was surprised. I really enjoyed it. So those of us who are afraid of carbs, listen up. That's included me. They are slimming. They are healing. And I'm talking to myself as well. It's really a few bites of an apple or eating a little bit of oatmeal is going to fatten me up. Not about anchor with some protein, with some lean protein. Remember in your email, we're going with lean protein here. To simply explain it this way, there might be a little bit of a gain on the scales after eating your email. That is due to the muscle cells taking in the fuel of glucose, and they are doing so by pulling in fluid. So they're going to say, this is a good thing in the long term, okay? In the long term, this is okay. It's a downward trend is what we're looking for on the scale that we should be watching for. I say we just need to make a pack and not weigh ourselves. But I'm still going to weigh myself every day. I can't help it. I just have to know what I'm doing, what I'm putting in my body, how it is affecting my weight. We don't want to get in too much of a rut. We can. I find myself in a rut, just want to do those S meals, but don't get in too much of a rut. Do your S. 3 hours later, if you feel like an E, have an E. 4 hours later, you can go from 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 going over 5 hours without eating. So remember, do not get in a rut. And you give yourself 3 hours between an S meal and E meal or vice versa. Carbs are good for your thyroid and serotonin. Your thyroid is important for metabolism, among other functions. Serotonin is important for your mood, sleep, digestion, for nausea, wound healing, blood clotting, and a big one, for sexual desire. So eating the right amount of carbs is good for adrenal fatigue and high cholesterol level. Weight loss takes a hit with adrenal fatigue and high cholesterol level. So e-meals per day. 1 e-meal per day or 3 to 4 times a week. That's what they suggest. I may have to start with just 2 to 3 times a week because I do love my S meals. They're just so satisfying. But they suggest 1 a day or up to 3 to 4 times a week. That would be helpful. So include some gentle carbs with your protein, like brown rice, sweet potatoes, and some quinoa, and round out your plate with a full cup of the full veggies. 1 cup of berries, even maybe blueberries, because this is your carb, so you might go up to a full cup on your blueberry, or 1 small apple, a small banana. So remember, we got to keep everything at 45 carbs in our e-meal. Is that, you got to stay at 45? No, but it's just a good guideline to go by. You can go up to 45 or you can, pull back a little bit. It's whatever you want to make of this e-meal, but that's the guideline, 45. I might would try to shoot, knowing me, probably 30 to 40, but 45 is a good guideline to go by. It's not too much that it's going to spike your blood sugar. You will burn through the carbs and then you're going to burn through the fats that you just ate and then onto the adipose tissue. That's what's so wonderful about it. Because your fats are low, your carbs are at 45, your fats are 5 grams or less. When you burn through the carbs, then you burn through that little bit of fat, and then when it goes looking for energy, it's going to find it in your body. It's going to be your adipose tissue. So this meal promotes weight loss and body fat loss as well. Fruit is a fantastic e-option. 1 apple, 1 orange, peach, nectarine, and 1 generous slice of cantaloupe is plenty. All berries in liberal quantities. So what is liberal quantity? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? Well, it's going to be what you're going to have to decide on. You're going to have to use your own judgment here. So no more than a cup. If you really like strawberries or blueberries, limit yourself to a cup, I would say. Fruits like mangoes, pineapples, grapes, and watermelons are better kept to a half a cup to 1 cup if you're insulin resistant or if you're type 2 diabetic. So those you want to kind of scale back on because of the natural occurring sugar that's attached to them. Or you may even need to stay with the medium glycemic fruits such as apples and peaches and your cherries until your blood sugars are under better control. These fruits have less of your natural occurring sugar. Bananas are high sugar fruit, and so you want to eat 1 small to a half of a large in your e-meal. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. It's not out of the question. It's not out of the question. It really isn't. In your e-meal, your banana sandwich is not out of the question because there is something called Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread. And I don't have it on me. Maybe Melissa can look up the nutritional values, but you can have 2 slices of Ezekiel bread. Do you like mayonnaise?
I do, yeah.
A dab of mayonnaise. No more than 5 grams of fat. 1 tablespoon has, what, about 10 grams of fat in it? So about a teaspoon of mayonnaise. You have your bananas and Ezekiel bread, and you still got a banana sandwich. So we're not about giving up any food group. We're about adding because God designed these food groups for us. We just got to learn how to pair them just right. So yes, find Ezekiel bread. It's going to be in the frozen section. I found it at Publix. I haven't bought it in a while.
is 80 calories, 0.5 grams of fat, 75 sodium, 15 grams carbohydrates, 3 grams of fiber, 0 sugars, and 5 protein.
So see, you can still have your banana sandwich. You just gotta try this Ezekiel bread, but you have to keep it in the freezer. You pull it out when you want to use it.
And try the avocado mayonnaise. Switch to, yeah.
It's a sprouted bread, so that's the reason why it's okay to have it. It's not a whole grain bread that's gonna spike your insulin.
If you want a sandwich, can you eat that?
Yes.
Hamburger bun for your bread instead of shot?
In an F meal, I would eat that hamburger bun in an F meal. And even in a E meal, I could still do that, but I would need to get like a turkey burger to eat this in an E meal. Butterball has good turkey burgers. You ever try Butterball turkey burgers? They're actually really good. They have 8 grams of fat. So in an E meal, that would be 3 grams above what they suggest. But are you limited at 5? No, try and see if it'll hurt you. And if it does spike your insulin too much, then you go, well, that's just not one of those personal choices I can have. But that's what that bread would be, a personal choice.
Or just
One of those
eat
frankenfoods.
half the burger.
Maybe you can do a half a burger. I love my burgers. I actually went on a few days vacation, and I took one of these hamburger buns, and I put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in a purse. That way when we got a hamburger, I could still eat a hamburger. And I would just get a side salad instead of eating the fries. Although I think I mixed some off my son's plate. I love my hamburgers. So yes, I'm going, these are personal choices because it doesn't have ideal ingredients in it, but I'm fine with it.
Can I ask a question off this a little bit? Okay, you on that hot roast?
Yes.
Okay. I make mine with a can of golden mushroom soup and lifted onion soup. Is that, I mean, what do they call it, gravy?
There's no flour in their gravy.
It's gonna be with almond flour and
Yeah.
probably a little bit of not in this one right here, but in this one right here, there could be some
Yeah, I don't remember.
gravy mixes. In these two right here, there could be some gravy mixes. So you like your roast with gravy, so we're gonna find out some gravy for you. Because we're not supposed to go without. We're supposed to be able to still have it. We just got to tweak it a little bit. So the sister did not want to get caught up in a whole bunch of penalty. Remember, we just talking about measuring, doing portion size.
Trim healthy,
We want to keep it simple.
trim healthy mamas are not Southern cookers.
Put it on, Mom.
They're not Southern cookers.
Well, they're in Tennessee. But
So I know there's a learning curve, but they do want to keep it simple and easy for us, okay? So give it time. Like we were talking with Sister Teresa, whenever you start, just start with one meal. Start with your favorite meal. All meals are my favorite meal, but I just start with breakfast. So start with your favorite meal and work on that.
Start eating breakfast.
Because I do want it to be easy for you, but there is a little bit of this learning curve. I want y'all to remember this, okay? I want to write this down, and it may not be on your quiz. Fruit portion, going back to this again. 1 apple because it has less natural occurring sugar, half to a large of a half of a large or 1 small banana. You gotta get that right. 1/2 to 1 cup of pineapples because it has more natural occurring sugars. And always anchor fruit with what? Protein. So if you want to have a little fruit, I mean, if you like the Laughing Cow cheese, this will be a nice little protein to have with it. Nice little fat. Let's see, what was it? might want to have a couple of those, because it's only got 2 grams of protein in it. So cottage cheese, I love pineapples and cottage cheese. Do y'all, anybody love pineapples and cottage cheese? I love it. A little bit of yogurt. Maybe make you a protein shake or something like that to go along with your fruit. But anytime you have a fruit, make sure you got protein going along with it. So by keeping to the guidelines of protein and portion sizes, there will be a gentle rise with no spike, and weight loss will happen. The sisters truly mean food freedom. Just like with fats and meals, they do not want us to miss out on healthy and enjoyable carbs as well. And I just found out within the last 2 years, the sisters have researched and they have included all potatoes back into our lifestyle. You know, with them, they felt like the potatoes were too much of a high end of the glycemic index. They took the potatoes away from us, golden potatoes, your Irish potatoes. They said no until you got to maintenance phase. Now they're saying it's okay. They've done some testing, they did the research, and they say you can have all potatoes now in an e-meal. In an e-meal, okay?
Can I cut up a potato and fry it like that? I don't know.
Yes,
You can?
yes. She was asking if she could cut the potato up and fry it in the coconut oil.
Yes, yes, you can. If you're in a crossover, you could definitely fry it up. And if you're doing an e-meal, you just gotta make sure that 5 grams of fat. And let's see, for 1 tablespoon, there's 14 grams of fat. So that's the reason why you have to measure just a little bit. But yes, you can still have it. You can still fry it up in the coconut oil. Very healthy for you that way. So the next product is very important to remember. This is what, y'all don't have to write this down, but just remember, this is what Pearl Bennett wrote in a paragraph. Hey, we've learned something new. Perhaps we didn't have the full picture back then. She's talking about in 2011, 2015. For E and crossover, all potatoes are actually on plan. Just figure out which potato does you best. Figure out which potato. Perhaps you need to stick to the sweet potato, but perhaps you are like me, Pearl talking to herself, you get to go with the whole potato, the whole gamut of the golden potato, the Irish potato, the red potato. There's plenty of other potatoes out there. You'll learn more. You'll lean more heavily on colored potatoes, but you'll still enjoy some white ones when you just want a white potato. So you still have that. Just watch what you put in it, watch how much butter, how much sour cream that you put in, so you're not spiking, because then you add a lot of fats, aren't you? You add a lot of fat and you add that butter and sour cream. I'll let you do fat-free sour cream. I don't know if I can handle that. So I'm not sure about the size of the potato, but I would stick with a palm size, okay? Till you know how to fix your blood sugar. All 3/4 cup of mashed potatoes made. That's the same with brown rice, that's the same with quinoa, barley, and farro. Oatmeal, you can have up to 1 1/4 cup cooked of oatmeal in an e-meal. It doesn't have to be exact, just guidelines. That's what I'm saying. These numbers they don't have to be exact. They're just guidelines. You got to test yourself and see how well you're responding to these complex carbs, these healthy, gentle carbs that you put in your body. So keeping grains, fruits, sweet potatoes to palm size portions will naturally keep you around 45 grams and less, which is the recommended limit. Okay, can you have fat in e-meal? Yes, up to 1 to 2 teaspoons of fat in an e-meal, like your coconut oil, like your butter. That's when you might have to measure just a little bit. We don't want to have to measure, but you might have to measure just a little bit. Fats are added for 3 reasons. Fats help to absorb vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins, minerals from your meal. Fats will help to make the rise in your blood sugar more gentle, and it also balances approach to not completely remove a full micronutrient from your meal. Then you still have your fats. It's not necessary though if your lean protein contains a sufficient amount of fat, acid as salmon, or some type of lean dairy, or 1% cottage cheese. No counting the natural curry fats in your lean meal. So if you have salmon, you don't have to add that extra 5 grams of fat can if you want to, but you don't have to because that salmon's got the fats in it, doesn't it? It's got the protein. So you can have 2 of those at one time. You don't have to have your fats and your protein and your carbs. You can just get it from your salmon. Does that make sense? Some of our grains, such as quinoa and oatmeal, contain fat, so you don't have to only concern yourself if they contain naturally occurring fat. And if you need that extra teaspoon of fat for salad dressing or for sauteing, then use it, okay? All about food freedom. Is everybody okay? Alright, when it comes to oil, look into MCT oil. It's the lowest of all the calories and your body burns this sort of fat faster than the other forms of fat. You can read more about that in chapter 18 about MCT oil. It's so good for you. The sisters do not recommend wheat bread because it is not a gentle rise on your blood sugar. They recommend grain-based bread that is sprouted or sourdough variety or bake your own. Not going to do that. That's why I'm going to give these personal choices, these Franken foods. There's a bread called Ezekiel. We were just talking about that. It's 100% sprouted. There's also English muffin. You can look for those as well. Ezekiel bread is plain approved bread in an E setting. You can make a sandwich with it. And it's in my notes here. Actually make a banana sandwich with 1 teaspoon of mayo. Maybe some cottage cheese or some yogurt to go along with it, keeping your carb count to 45 or less. You can make a sandwich with 96% lean deli meat, maybe with a wedge of laughing cow cheese and some fruit, and you got a great snack. You can also add lettuce tomato on that. You can add some pickles on that because that's your fuel pools, isn't it? And you can have those, so you can make a really nice little sandwich. Remember, all carbs are not created equal, and we can make almost any carb fit into an e-meal. But the purpose is to make it a healthy meal or a snack. So let's go to page 40 and look at the rules to build an e-meal. Protein. 3 to 4 ounces of lean meat without skin. Alright? And that may be on page 40 now. Yeah, we're still on page 40. Fat, roughly 1 teaspoon. Nut seeds or cheese just to garnish. That's your fat. Your carbs up to 45 grams. And your fuel pool to round up to plate with veggies and fruit. Remember, we're keeping our fats 5 or less, and our carbs 20 to 45. It's really not an e-meal if you don't have at least 20 carbs, and your limit is 45. So look at examples on page 40, 41 for breakfast. It's protein, and that's your Greek yogurt. I'm just going to read from here. Your carbs is the 2 slices of, it's a 1/4 cup of oatmeal, and the fat is the natural occurring fat in your yogurt, and the veggie is the cinnamon spice stewed apple. That is an example of an e-meal, that breakfast. Okay, what about your lunch? This is an example. 4 ounces again of deli meat. Carbs is 2 slices of sprouted bread. Fats is mayo and spritz of oil. Your fuel pool vegetables is tomatoes, lettuce, and onion, mustard, and low-fat cottage cheese. That's your lean protein there as well, and a small slice of cantaloupe. So you can also have cantaloupe, just a small slice in this meal. What about supper? Again, 4 ounces. It's 3 to 4 ounces of lean ground turkey, seasoned with Cajun style. Our carb is with our sweet potato with meat crumbles. Our fats came from the spritz of olive oil, Greek yogurt. And our fuel pool veggies were the salad with tomatoes and cucumber drizzled with vinegar. So these are examples they're giving you. These are examples you can follow, and you will be having a perfect e-meal at home. Just remember your carb count, remember your fat count. and it's caramelized with onions. Y'all back on page 39. And your fat is just a spritz of olive oil. And the veggies are tender, field greens with balsamic vinegar gently drizzled over it. The balsamic vinegar drizzled over your field greens. That is another example.
Meat crumbles. Meat crumbles, what's that?
It's probably what was ever in that pan, that chicken. Whenever they probably pan fried it, they probably scraped it a little bit and threw it over the, with the onions. If you had some onions in it, or whatever the meat crumbles in, they just throw it over top of that meat, that chicken, that skinless chicken.
Or bacon bits. Or bacon bits.
And they made turkey crumbs,
They
turkey
do.
sausage crumbs.
Yeah.
You could buy them
Yeah.
already.
And turkey would be good, because it's gonna be leaner.
I use them for
Just a reminder, if you accidentally add too many carbs here, or too many fats there, no biggies, okay? Your approach is a healthy meal, so you've thrown together a nice healthy meal. Maybe you crossed over a little bit, with a little bit too much fat, a little bit too much carb, but it's okay, it's still a healthy meal, the way I looked at it. That's also another word for tandem fueling, when you add two fuel, because that's what carbs is the fuel, and your fat is the fuel. And you want to separate those. So if you add them together, that's called tandem fuel, and it's okay. While you're learning the steps, it's gonna happen. It's all about learning and forgiveness and food freedom. Any questions so far? I'm not gonna go through the list in the back like I did with the S meals. But if y'all need to go through it, let me know. We can work on it one-on-one if y'all need me to, okay? Remember, don't get in a fuel rut. And balance your diet with healthy S and E meals and wait 3 hours from S to E or E to S. Now go to page 54 and we're going to talk about fuel pools now. Remember what? Fuel pools, they go with everything. They go with your S meals and they go with your E meal. They're the khaki skirt. They go with everything. Fuel pools, their fats are 5 grams or less, and their carbs are 10 grams or less. These are wonderful line of foods that round out your plate in an S or E meal. They are lower in calories, and they do not contain a main source of fuel. Because your carbs are less and your fats are less, and your body's going to be looking for energy. So where's that energy going to come from? It's going to come from your own adipose tissue because you didn't put in a true fuel, but it's too small the numbers here. So these wonderful lot of foods that round up your SE meals, they are lower in calories, okay? They can make an excellent snack. So like this right here, you can have 2 of these and a cow cheese. Just 2 of these would only be 7 carbs of your light rice. Would just be 7 carbs and so it might go over your carbs is 10. So you can have 2 of those and you have a cow cheese wedge. And you got your nice little snack there. That's your fuel pool.
Is the baby bell, is that the same as the lamb? I know it's not the same, but is it as good as the lamb cow? The little baby bell and the
I think it's about the same. I have to look at the back of the ingredients to see what the fat count is and what the protein amount is and what the carb, shouldn't hardly be any carbs in that baby bell. But it should be very similar. So the fuel pool, they're gonna round out your plate. They can also make excellent snacks or desserts. Maybe you have come to a stall. This meal can help you get past that stall. You're tricking your body with a smaller caloric load. The idea of this meal is since there is no primary fuel, your body will go looking for fuel and will use your own body fat as that fuel. Okay? The sisters say if you use too many fuel pools as it's gonna backfire on you. So just a few a week. Fuels are not recommended for pregnant nor nursing mothers. Now remember, fuels are to jumpstart your weight loss when in a stop. We will learn more about turtle losers later in chapter 24. Those that are losing weight a little bit slower, than little tricks that we can do to kind of get your weight loss started again. So let's build a fuel meal. So your protein is 3 to 4 ounces again. Then your fat, 1 teaspoon of coconut oil or MCT oil. The MCT oil, it's got a really fast metabolism ability. So if you would want to use some MCT oil in this particular meal, it would be good. Otherwise, you can just use coconut oil, the 1 teaspoon. Fuel with veggies, generous amount of non-starchy veggies, and a moderate amount of berries and lean dairy. So what would this look like for breakfast? Your protein would be your egg whites, or maybe you want to make an omelet. So you could use a little bit of Alaskan cow cheese to go into your omelet with the egg whites. Your natural curd fat is going to come from your egg whites and the cheese wedge. But there's a little bit of, I think there's like 1.5 grams of fat in that cheese wedge. And your fuel foods would be like mushrooms, grated summer squash, zucchini, onions, tomatoes, pepper, and spinach. That's a nice little omelet, isn't it? But yet it's low in fat and it's low in carbs and it promotes weight loss. And it helps you get past that little bit of weight stall that you might be in. Or if you just want to jumpstart your weight loss as well. Remember, we don't want to do too many of these a week. Just enough. Okay, for lunch, how does this fuel look? Lean deli meat, or tuna, or maybe some Greek yogurt. Maybe 1 teaspoon of mayo with a Joseph pita, or like this tortilla right here. So this tortilla, I think it has 4 or 5 carbs in it. Okay, it only has 4 carbs in it. It has 15 carbs, but it's got 11 fibers. So you subtract the fiber, and what are you left with? 4 carbs. So this right here could be a fuel pool because its carbs is 10 and less. And you got some lean deli meat and a little bit of mayo, lettuce and tomatoes. You just made your nice little wrap. You could probably add a little Alaskan cow cheese wedge to it. That's still keeping your fat just low enough. Because that's, I think, 6.5 grams of fat in this. I mean, 1.5. 1.5, that would give you 6.5 grams of fat. And this one has 1.5 too. Remember, to that wrap, you can add your lettuce and tomatoes, you can add cucumbers, onions. Not too much onions though. You can add a little bit of olive oil to it, and just a little spritz, a little bit of vinegar to it. However you like to, dress it up and make it taste good. Or maybe a little bit of Greek yogurt, maybe 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. Supper, how would this look? How about a citrus baked tilapia? Your fat would be the natural burn fat in your tilapia. And then your veggies would be, they give an option here of roasted greens and tomatoes, and they filled up on caramelized fat stripping frappe, and that's one of the smoothies in the Trim Healthy Mama book. And on page 57, fuel works as a snack or dessert. We're going to cover that more in chapter 8, which will be next week. The fuel list is on pages 58, 59, and 60, so really study those, okay? Your fuel pool list. 58, 59, and 60. Alright? Y'all ready to move on? We're going to move on to what's called crossovers. Crossovers, remember, is whenever both fuels come together. Your fat and your carbs come together, and they are for the nursing mamas, the pregnant mothers, those who are maintenance, those who have a high metabolism, those who are close to maintenance. Like I can try a few crossovers, but I've got to incorporate more, I know that. But 1 to 2 a week, that's what I need to try for. Crossovers are like cheats though. You keep the carb count to 45 grams and the fat as many as you desire. So you can have more than 5 fat in the protein in your crossover meal. You can have your carbs are 45 and your fat more than 5. What did I put on y'all's sheet? Here it is.
Fats, 20 to 30. Carbs, 45.
Okay. Cause see, I don't do this every day, so I had to look it up as well. And I didn't really give an amount either here. I was thinking I did. As much as you need. You know you can go more than 5. Do you want to go up to 50 grams of fat and a crossover? No, I wouldn't do that either. I might well stick, try 10 and see how you do. And if you do really well, then try 15. I would go up in increments. But your fat, you can do a little bit more fat in your crossover. How many would you do, Melissa?
It's been too long since I've played.
Yeah. I need to play around with the crossover and just see how my weight responds and kind of give you guys, you know, an answer to that. But it's going to be judged by your own body how you're responding to crossover. If you start gaining weight, then you know you've added too many fat and you have to pull back a little bit. So just start at a number that you feel good with and go from there. And I'm thinking, what would I start with? I might start with 10. I might start with 15 with fats. Just a little bit more. I said, what does the meal look like? Okay, let's go back up here. Crossover merge 2 fuels, fat and carb together for healthy tandem fueling. Crossovers are not cheap, what I was just talking about. Crossovers are for growing children that may have a weight problem. Crossovers are going to happen when you learn from healthy mom weight. So you're going to merge your S and E meals. That's no problem. That's all right if you merge a little bit too much in crossovers. That's what these crossovers are. Having crossover every now and then is good for your metabolism and keeps your body guessing because you're not getting in that rut, aren't you? You go from an S to an E, that's really good. But when you throw in a crossover, you throw in that little extra fat, you're about going, oh, wow, this is something new. So it's making your body guess, and it may release a little bit more fat for you, a little bit more weight for you. Before go weight read, you can play with 1 to 2 crossovers a week. If your weight stalls or slows down, just go back to your S&E meals, not a crossover. Alright, so what is a crossover meal like? Protein, lean or fatty meat with or without skin. Remember in the email, it was without skin. In the crossover, you can have skin. Fat is desired. Your protein can come from sources like oil, butter, or nuts. Carbs up to 45. The gentle whole grain, beans, sweet potatoes, or golden potatoes, and your fuel. Those are optional. If you want to add them, you can, but you don't have to add them. You can add berries to this. It's whatever you feel like having in your crossover. There's not a lot of limits here. I mean, you can enjoy a nice crossover. So your carbs are 45, your fat is as much as you need. So a protein for a breakfast could be 2 eggs with a half a cup of melted cheese. That's not too much. Fat is 1 teaspoon of coconut oil for eggs and 2 teaspoons for the sprouted bread. You can have sprouted bread here. Your carbs can be 2 slices of sprouted bread, and your fuel foods are mushrooms, spinach, onions, and a half a cup of blueberries with a squirt of fat-free red wheel. Well, what about a lunch option here? Your protein would be your ground beef patty, your fat is mayo, and your avocado. Wouldn't that be nice? Your carbs are 2 slices of sprouted bun, and your fuel food, lettuce, sliced tomatoes, slice of cheese, and a half a cup of strawberries or half a cup of yogurt. And then for a supper option, baked chicken with skin, your fat oil-based dressing, your carbs is a stir-fried brown rice, each side portion, and look at page 50 for the portion size. So yeah,
Belinda, did you say 54? What page did you say?
we are on 50 now. This just gives you in your email, it gives you more of your options to choose from, your portion sizes. in your brown rice, you want up to 3/4 of a cup. And it's gonna give you those portion sizes here in your grains. Once I've had time to look at it, you can really go through it and you'll see your grains and your portion sizes in your book. It's a lot to take in one night. It's a lot to take in 1 week. That's the reason why you gotta do stuff to study it first. Let's flip up to page 66, chapter 7, S helpers. S helpers can be used for weight loss. It adds just enough carbs to your meal to satisfy you and your body's still able to burn through those few carbs, the fat, and then it's still going to go into your own fat stores and you're going to burn some of your own adipose tissue. Another reason to add is that for some people may not be used to eating a lower amount of carbs in a meal, and they may need some S helpers to help balance out the symptoms of hypoglycemia until they have become fat adapted to S cells. I know Melissa, she has to watch her blood sugar. Hers can get too low at times, or too high. Hers can go too high. Okay, so in your S helpers, you will have your protein is going to be lean or fatty meat, collagen, whey protein, powder. These are all wonderful ways to get your protein. Fat is desired. Your full, non-starchy veggies, berries, and certain forms of dairy. And then your carb count in your S helpers. Remember, your S helpers is the same as your S helpers. You just add that little bit extra carb, which is 1/4 of a cup of brown rice, 1/3 to 1/2 cup of the quinoa or oatmeal, beans and lentils, 1/2 a cup, 1/2 of a sweet potato, 1/2 of a golden potato, a sprouted wrap. They're saying 1/2 of a sprouted wrap or tortilla. It's just a little bit more to your S meal, but your proteins you can eat. Your fats as much as you want, and don't forget about those fuels. You will round out your plate with those non-starchy veggies. And your S helper, the food list is on page 68. So make sure y'all read this list for your S's, for your E's, for your full fuel pool, and for your crossovers. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Is there any E helpers? I just talked about S helpers. Think about that. Is there any E helpers? Remember, S helpers just add just a little bit extra. Your carb limit in E's are what? 45. So do we have any E helpers? No, we don't. We don't have any E helpers. 45 grams in a carb in your E meal is your limit. So y'all learning the numbers is all about this learning curve. Learning these numbers is all about it. But once you get it, you can go into Walmart, you can go into the grocery store, anywhere, and you can look at an ingredient and you can tell what you're buying, whether it's an S or whether it's an E. I'm always learning new stuff and I'm always studying. And especially since I've been doing this lesson, I have learned and saw a different way about Trim Healthy Mama that I didn't see 7 years ago when I started studying this. Back then, I wasn't concerned about perimenopause. Now I am. Now I realize I may need to incorporate more of these E's than I didn't need then. So we women, we go through multiple stages in life, do we not? And what worked for me 7 years ago is probably not working today. That's the reason why I'm saying, although I'm scared of these emails, I'm going to start incorporating them more into my lifestyle. So now I know I need to tweak my health journey just a little bit. You will have to do the same thing. You're going to tweak it as you go about it. You won't keep it the same way you started now. 2 years from now, you may be doing it a little bit differently. But don't be afraid to tweak it if you have to. It's your journey, and you suit it for whatever stage you are in. And most importantly, listen to what your body is telling you and what it needs. It will tell you things. And feed it accordingly. Something else I want you to take from this study, that this isn't just a journey to lose weight, but this is a journey to better health and for a better life and for a better future. Apply what you know today and keep